I had thought that last week I would have put on weight, and I didn't. I still managed to lose a pound, and it's better because that's a slow decrease rather than a large decrease. There's two things I want to mention in this week's Over A Cuppa. Well, three really. The first thing is there isn't any blends for this week. The second thing is there's a good reason why people yo-yo in weight if they lose a lot of weight too quickly. So when you start dieting, your body has a certain amount of fat cells, and as you lose weight, these fat cells, the energy in them is burned up and they sort of shrink and shrivel up. And they can do that quite quickly. But they need to stay shriveled for a long time, or for quite a while, for the nucleus in the cell to actually die. Once the nucleus has died, the cell itself is broken down and it's gone. If you lose weight, crash diet very quickly, what you do is you shrink those fat cells, but then as soon as you stop, the fat cells, they just swell up again, so it's like deflating. If you lose weight slowly, you shrink the fat cells and you leave it long enough for those fat cells to actually die. And then in order to get, put on weight again, it's not just a case of refilling these fat cells. Your body actually has to completely make them all over again. And that seems to take longer or more energy, or I don't know. That was about as helpful as the doctor was when I went to get some help. They won't refer you to a dietitian on the NHS because unless you have some sort of illness that is causing the obesity, they won't refer you. They don't care. And the reason for that is that when they first put out the call for to try and help all the fat people, they were overwhelmed, and now they can't cope with them because there are quite a lot of people that are obese. And that brings me on to the second point, and that is why. People just say that you eat too much, basically. That's what it is. But eating is primarily controlled by the brain and by signals of hunger and stuff like that. Overeating is a case of you overriding that sort of natural instinct to feed. And why you do that is quite important, because there may be a good reason, or there may be a difficult reason to combat that isn't going to go away just by not eating so much. Something has made you choose to eat, and you need to sort that out as well. I've had a hellish week last week, an absolutely hellish week, and I think I've probably put on weight. And I think the reason that I've done that is because when I am stressed, when I am angry, when I am depressed, there are two things happen. Firstly, I cannot be asked to be self-disciplined like that. And secondly, I like food, and it makes me feel better to eat. It's something nice. So it's a matter of comfort eating, I suppose, in one way. I think the importance that people have to note with this is you are not in control of what happens to you, but you are in control of how you respond to what happens to you. And you might have a tendency, if you are comfort eating, to give away power over yourself through this anger, through this depression, to other people. Other people have made you angry, and you have reacted by overeating, basically. That's how it's going. So you are effectively giving them power to control your body. And I've heard that a lot, and I know it's been true for a long time, but this week has proved that to me, that what I need to do is basically say that I am not going to give these people who upset me, who make me angry, who depress me. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of having that power over me, because they don't deserve to have that power over me, and it's not helping. So that's what I'm going to try and work on, because I very much doubt that my weeks are going to improve dramatically, at least in the foreseeable future. So let's move on to the things of the week. And first, do you know the chicken and bacon salad held up better than the cheese salad? And I think one of the reasons it held up better was because the cheese sweats. I mentioned before about the fact that the mayonnaise tended to separate in the cheese salad. It didn't with the chicken and bacon, and I just wonder if some of that excess water is produced more by the cheese sweating than anything else. This week we have rocket salad. Now, I am basically not endorsing any product or any store at which I get the products from. But what I'm doing is, for ease, I'm literally working my way along shelves in this. And I'm getting big bags when it comes to salad and dried fruit, because the dried fruits are the snacks and the salad is my main meal for 2 days. Although I have to say, with things like this that aren't boxes with bags, it's going to be a case of mixing it with egg or tinned meat or something like that, spam, to sort of bulk it up a little bit, and that's fine, that's fine. That also means, in terms of the allotment, it's safer, because I am going there, eating and taking everything back with me, whereas before, with the box salads, it's a case of you have to wash out, you know, the box salad, and then you're throwing away the waste. And what I don't want to do is encourage vermin, rats, birds, anything like that. We cannot be doing with that. So rocket salad is this week's salad of the week, and I shall tell you what that's like later. As for the dried fruit, there is a point, although I'm going along the shelf, I am looking at the ingredients, and anything that has sugar added to it, like for example the dried mango slices, I'm not taking. I'm only taking dried fruit which does not have extra added sugar to it. This week we've got giant soft prunes. Again, grape tree is my thing of choice, but once I've exhausted that I shall move on to another store, that's no problem. And these, in case you're wondering, were the apricots from the last sort of week or two. They're beginning to go a bit sort of bit rubbery now, but I've enjoyed them immensely. Now, my tea of the week is, the kettle is still boiling, so you'll have to excuse me whilst I just go and fetch my tea through. Week's tea of the week is the last in the set of my Twinings fruit teas that I'm going through, and this week we have got pear and guava. And I have to say that although it has pieces of pear and guava, the flavouring, the concentrate, is pear, which might explain why the smell is not typical of the Twinings teas. This actually smells not honey-like, but it smells very sweet, and I think that could be the pear concentrate. I wouldn't be surprised if it if it tastes greatly of pear, because the concentrate that they use seems to be much stronger than when they use pieces. It is, of course, the natural red colour that we've come to expect from these Twining teas. Brews very, very quickly. Very, very well indeed. So, next week, who knows? Who knows what I shall decide. I shall find a tea from somewhere. You don't need to worry about that. Let's have a taste. You can taste the pear. It's quite odd because it's not sweet at all. It's not sweet at all, it's quite bland. And that's strange because the smell is extremely sweet. And when you taste it, you expect it to be sweet. It was a little bit like the one that I didn't really enjoy when it smelled quite sort of, was it cinnamony, and I thought it would have quite a kick, and it didn't. It's funny how your sense of smell can get you quite hyped up about something like this, and then you taste it and you realise that it really is literally a prefabricated smell, and it doesn't bear any resemblance to the colour of the tea, to the taste of the tea or anything. You know, the tea bags, bright yellow, pear and guava, neither of them are really the sort of very, very dark red. You know, neither of those would smell particularly sweet or of honey. And when you do have everything that in that combination, and you taste it, and it's really quite sort of mellow, I suppose, it's a bit of a it smells better than it tastes.